time to walk around, walking around the compound. Lions and tigers all around, see some cats when Derek walks around.
All right, here we go. Got this thing. I'm gonna call it the Dudosaurus Rex, because that's what it was. That's what it was. He did not care. Zero care. Behold the field in which I plant my cares, and notice that it is barren. That's what Munchie says. You know, which, hey, it's kind of like a blind date kind of thing, which I said in the video itself, so I'm just recycling. I'm just recycling old jokes. And I'm probably going to post the video anyway, but it was kind of like a blind date after the break, because Munchie broke up with the bear. It was kind of messy. It was kind of like it was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard kind of situation. It was really just public, toxic. It was just frightening. And then, you know, it's like trying to date after that, and I'm like, you know, I'm just not feeling the T-Rex. It was a dud. A Dudosaurus. So now they're just roommates. He kind of got out, he sniffed at it, he snuffled at it. That was it. That was it. That's all that happened. That's all that happened. And of course, what may end up happening is that it, you know, like as soon as people leave, then he gets emanated. Emanated. Sit. Oh, that's her tail responded. That's nice. Sit. Hello. Hi. Hi. Okay. Oh, what are they doing? Heidi and Jamie are out filming. Because it was me and Heidi and Jamie. Heidi, Jamie, and I doing the T-Rex stuffy thing. Now they're up. They're filming some other stuff. Either for CARES YouTube or CARES Facebook or CARES Patreon. If you want to see different content, hi, hello. We actually had a little strategy powwow, the three of us earlier. It's nice. Talked about some good things. Just, you know, banging the drum for care. Hi. Hello. Just different ways that we can do that. Spread the word. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not the way to spread the word. That is not the way to spread the word. Wow. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed. Oh. Bushes. Where'd they go? What happened? Hashtag Bushgate. Bushspiracy. They were here, but now they were gone. They were about to, the bushes were about to blow a bunch of whistles about an island. Yeah, it had a dossier containing names of island visitors. And then they disappeared. What a coincidence, huh? Oh, hi. I always do that. I always hit it. Hello, you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just flip it. And then, there we go. Maybe that's the new way. Instead of having to do because then I have to grab, and then, oh my gosh, and then I have to flip. And that just takes time. I actually made my webcasting just now at least 17% more efficient. You're welcome, Pride. You're welcome. But yesterday and then into this morning, it was a big bush day. Trimming bush all day. I mean, it looks very different because, of course, there was all up and down, all up and down. And then you might be just like, you took away some of the foliage. And it's like, yeah, no, we took away foliage. A lot of the bushes it's that time of year where they're starting to kind of get all cruddy and dying. You can see remnants of the pokeberries. But that is time of the year where the bushes start to they start to look a little poorly. Maybe as my grandma used to say. Oh, she's looking a little poorly. It's one of those old-timey things. But going around and trimming and then kind of cleaning up and pulling things away, that helps to promote winter grass growth. Because the winter grasses are going to start coming in. And even, it's stunning how green it still is. Going into September, it's gonna be October. Way more summers than not. Way more summers than not. Grass is just brown and dead and weird and gross. Getting to be this time of year. So the fact that I got so much green, that's something. Must be all that carbon. Oh.
She has her doubles, he has singles, he has complete doubles. It's harder to see his, but yeah, look at his. Hey, Cal, stop it! Let others play.
What are you guys doing?
We're doing.
What are you guys filming?
We're filming double teeth.
Double teeth?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cal, see what's Cal? Double teeth.
Double the teethies.
Let's say she has all her incisors are adult.
Double the bites.
Canines are babies are the biggest, and then her adults are just barely poking through.
Oh.
Cons are all the way in. Leon has only babies.
Oh, Leon's still a baby.
He's got his incisors, but his canines are all babies.
Jamie, what's this going to get posted on? Care's Facebook, Care's Patreon, Care's YouTube? All of the above?
Are you stuck, honey? I don't know. You're stuck, aren't you?
She helped.
Cal says, let me show you how to do it. Now see, he's not wanting me to go.
Yeah, he's one of those, he's like, don't look at my baby teeth. He doesn't want to show them.
He doesn't have any. His are all grown up.
Oh. Oh, other way around. I remember being like in middle school, and like I was the only kid in gym class that had armpit hair, and I was just like, I was really embarrassed. I was wearing like a cutoff shirt. It's the same kind of concept. He's like, don't look at my grown up teeth. He's all awkward.
What is it with baby tigers?
I don't know.
Look at those.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Work it, baby. Work it.
Yeah. You can definitely see the teethies where it's like, yeah, they're just like one after the other, like the canine teeth. So the sharp and pointies, the kill teeth.
The whole teeth. They're actually not. Oh,
yeah, kill teeth. Yes, they are. They're kill. Yes, sure they are. What did Dr. Frank say?
They hold you.
Yeah, they hold your veins and your arteries shut.
Oh, Kona. Easy.
Whoa.
Big boy.
Wow. Fred.
See, is it barely poking through the bottom? See him? On the bottom? They're just, he's probably teething like crazy right now, see?
Oh, yeah.
The adults are just barely coming through the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Probably, that hurts, buddy, doesn't it?
that's why he's wanting the water on his mouth, because it helps his teething.
Yep. Oh, gosh, yeah, they're...
They're just,
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they like the water is, because it feels good on their teeth.
Yeah. It's cooler.
And see, Krahn and Kona, their teeth are really, because they've been crazy over the water hose for a while, but right now they don't like it anymore. Theirs are all the way in.
Did you say the water hose or the water hose? I've been spraying the tigers with a water hose over here. Get some of that water on your gums there, tigers. Gotta make sure, because the tigers are teething. Get some water. Ah, they're wicked teething. Ah, the tigers are wicked teething. We have Sleepy Butt. Watched another one of those documentary things yesterday. Heidi and I did, and it's one of those kind of things where, cripes, if you have social media, if you have smartphone social media accounts, it should be like basically required viewing. But that documentary called The Social Dilemma on Netflix, super good, super good. And it had a bunch of different tech insiders and early, well, not necessarily early, even just like the last few years, people who are big in the industry of developing social media. So you had development directors and technologists and monetization directors, so like high up people in these various companies. Reddit, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Google, and they were all talking about the various ways that social media accounts and social media platforms were designed to like hyper manipulate people's psychologic substrates, instinctual underpinnings. Mita pita. Yeah, she's in there. She's in her storm. Oh.
Look at Peter, come here. Good girl.
What are they doing?
Get the water hose.
The water. Come get the water, Peter.
You want it? Come here, Peter. You want it? No. She said that was only when I was little.
But it was so good. It talked about the various ways, and it was such a nuanced and interesting kind of thing, because of course it talked about people and the things that they were doing in kind of very kind of human terms. They were saying like, look, no one who went into these endeavors really like went into have these diabolical they didn't have diabolical motivations. It's like they weren't bad people. It's like they wanted to connect people. They wanted to spread positivity. They wanted to spread joy. But then like not knowing that a lot of these unintended consequences were going to be things like heightened levels of anxiety, heightened levels of depression, heightened rates of polarization, tribalism, heightened levels of just mental unwellness, because we're having so much of our mental, biologic, instinctual, genetic systems hijacked by these platforms. What is it, that whole notion? It's like, if a product is free, it's like that, there's like a phrase, hey, I see you. Yeah, Rasa has a flip phone. Jeepers criminals. Wow. Well. What was I even saying? But yeah, it's super good. I don't want to talk about it terribly too much. I don't, even though of course I could probably talk about it for a while. But yeah, give it a look. I really think, and it does, like at the end of it, it kind of had a greater call for like regulation, like oversight, because a lot of societal institutions, a lot of even like democratic institutions are being put like heavily at risk because of the advent and proliferation of just completely unregulated social media and like what it can do. Because it's like you're giving, because we are, like, again, human beings, we're apes, a few steps above chimpanzee. We're complex apes, but then you start giving us kind of, you know, borderline godlike telepathic powers, and then say like, all right, just be good and moralistic with this, and it's like, no, we're still apes. Really, I was about to say interesting, but it's just like these really, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's like, I guess it's you're talking about some fascinating correlations between things, but they're terrible, like awful. We're talking about like depression and suicide rates, especially for teenage girls. Like it's like girls aged like 15 to 17 or 18, suicide rates and depression rates have gone up like 70%, something like that, since 2009, coinciding with the advent and rise of social media. Young teen, 10 to 14, suicide rates have gone up like over 150% in that time. It's staggering. They talk about just monetization models and how the algorithms are designed, and how, like, a lot of people think that it's like nefarious people kind of like dial. And don't get me wrong, that does happen. It's like there's people that can kind of dial things behind the scenes, absolutely, but so much of it more is just cold, calculative, artificial intelligence algorithms very specifically designed to keep you hooked and to keep you engaged. That's why the proliferation of so many different types of squirrely information is a thing that happens. And then people say like, well, it's because these entities are trying to promote these kind of, and it's like, yeah, that does kind of happen, but then there's also kind of this notion that even the people who created this stuff have admitted like, there's like a Pandora's box thing, and it's been very difficult for even us to kind of put it back, if not impossible. And I would argue that it is kind of impossible without the more oversight and regulation. It's almost kind of like when you look, and I've watched old, I remember watching old clips of the Johnny Carson show. I mean, when he like first got started, when everything was like, it was still black and white, and it's like, this episode of Johnny Carson was brought to you by Pall Mall and Lucky Strike, and 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Pall Mall, and it's like, what? And it was like, that was a thing that happened, like the way that things were advertised, the way that content was monetized, the way that there was like way less regulation on how it is that you spoke about products, and how it is that you, like, what you could market, and how it is that you could market, and to whom, and like age groups that you could market things to. Way different back in like the early days of just traditional, even just media. And I think that what we're going to be seeing is social media is going to probably go through similar transformations. I think that it's, and they made a very compelling case that it kind of has to, just for the sake of our species, not just like, oh, people in America, but just everywhere. What it does to people's brains long time. What it does to people's brains long time over the course of a long period of time, what it does long term. Yeah, it's not good. And it's funny because at the very end of the thing, they were talking about, because it was like while the credits were rolling, and then they started asking these people, these tech insiders, these really smart people who have helped to develop these tools, these platforms, they started asking them, like, well, what are different ways in which you can kind of mitigate and combat or just like help, like protect yourself? And it's interesting. It's interesting because a lot of the stuff that they were recommending was like stuff that I've since like put into place myself, primarily just because I certainly know firsthand like how crazy social media can make you. Hi, bud. And how much down a weird road, and how much it affects you and your mental well-being, and how much it can affect your family, how can it affect your productivity. Like when the rocket of BigCatDerek with Vine and all that stuff started really, really taking off, like it sucked me in. It was a tornado that just hi mister. And it really did affect my general sense of well-being. Chasing the likes and chasing the things and like looking at this is performing over here and this is not doing over this, and then it started to become, that was this reality, that was the narrative, that's the thing that existed, that became the world, that became the thing that became what simply was. And then the real world like became less and less of a thing that was, which is kind of silly because, I mean, yeah, that seems real. Or it just seems, of course, like, electrochemical signals inside my brain telling me that this is reality. I know, yes, you existential philosophists, sure, great. But what I'm saying is that I was replacing and value and adding way more value and putting way more into social media, and it started to really affect me. I really almost got lost by it, big time. So I had to start actually like implementing these kind of rules for myself. And then it was funny because the rules that they had, like the tips that they were basically espousing at the end credits of this documentary, were like, oh yeah, I do that. They were talking about like turn off your notifications, just turn them off. Or turn them, unless it's like super duper, like you absolutely need to be informed of X. Otherwise, you don't need to be informed. You don't have to have your notifications on. That's great. Have like windows of time in which you actually use, you use your device, and then make sure that like the times in which you utilize your devices and the times at which you actually interface with social media are far enough removed from like important times that you're eating, times that you're trying to spend enriching time with family, times that you're actually trying to go to bed. It's like, yeah, I know that. Oh, I still, that last one, go to the, like, not using phones before you go to bed. I still struggle with that. Oh boy. I still struggle with that. But it's so easy. It's so easy to get lost in these kind of hamster wheels. It's so easy to go down these rabbit holes. It's so easy to have your perceptions and your ideas and your sense of reality, and then your sense of the way that you view other people or other things or other ideas apart from your own. It's so easy to have all of those stuff like hijacked and manipulated. And again, not always by other people, but just it's like a byproduct of just the way the algorithms are designed. Because it's just there to keep you coming back. That's it. Keep your attention. Everyone's fighting for a slice of attention so that they can monetize, so that they can advertise. That's it. So that they can take note of the subtle changes of your behavior. That's what they want to know. Changes in human behavior, and especially over large enough kind of data sets, because then that means that they can advertise more efficiently. They can market more efficiently. Commercial entities can make a lot more money if they know what people are thinking and then what people are going to do. And that is all information that we offer up willingly. 100%. Yeah, there's that whole thing where it's like if any time if a service is free, then it's like, what is it? You're not the customer. You are the product. Oh. And like I watched that, and you think like, well, you think about your own contributions to that as a phenomenon, to that whole concept, that idea that these platforms have had a monumental, foundational effect on our global citizenry. It absolutely has. And there's a really interesting, I remember there was an interesting video on social media. There was an interesting video on YouTube I actually watched where it was comparing the times that we're living in right now to the times shortly after the invention of the printing press and leading into the Protestant Reformation, because it was another instance in which technology had fundamentally changed the socioeconomic, political, faith-based, just all the landscape of everything, culture, ideas, everything changed. Institutions were irreparably disrupted during those times, and it was technology driven. It was purely technology driven, and that's kind of a thing that I think that we're living in right now. I really do. I think that we're accustomed to things and information being transported and delivered in a certain way, and now, like, we are in a weird adolescent phase where, like, the internet is definitely, it's still in, like, the Wild West kind of thing. It's really, like, almost kind of, it's like the stages of the internet are kind of like the, maybe like the Red Dead Redemption 2, kind of era, where it's like right at the end of like cowboy times, because that game takes place in 1899, and that was a big theme, where it's like this era of American history is ending. And you wonder if maybe we're in kind of like that time. How the West was won, how the internet was tamed. That might be a thing. And again, people are making compelling cases where it's like, it's not just a matter of like, hey, this probably shouldn't, like, no, it needs to happen. It needs to happen before things get really bad, before we just start ripping each other apart. Yeah. That's why, and I like the documentary because it was like, it's like, it's not this thing or this belief or this political opinion versus another one. No, it's not us versus that. It's us versus the robots, which I've been talking about for years. Everyone wants to say, oh, it's this political party, or oh, it's this thing, or these people over at this country. No, robots. That's what it is. I've been saying the robots have been at it for but I do believe that artificial intelligence poses definitely much more of an existential threat, for sure, than basically anything. Anything. It really does. That's what I believe. I think that the first iteration, it's not, I don't think that it's so much of like, oh, that Terminator kind of Matrix kind of thing where artificial intelligence says like, oh, humans are a threat, we have to eradicate humans. No, the first iteration of like real, legitimate, honest to goodness, like we have to be very, very careful, and hopefully this doesn't destroy us, is, what was it, the paperclip optimization theory, where you may have like an advanced artificial intelligence program, and all that they are programmed to do is just make paper clips, and use whatever resources are at their disposal to make as many paper clips as possible. So then it literally creates a system in which it starts to just turn the world into paper clips, because that's what it's programmed to do. It's like, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to dissolve your family's, like biomass into like its component parts in order for me to actually make paper clips. I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that. Sorry. That's more of like a thing I think that we got to really worry about at the first. And then, of course, as generalized artificial intelligence starts to wake up and it starts to actually have its own kind of like, who knows, maybe it does actually start to develop kind of its own set of moralistic principles and values. Are those going to be anywhere near what like ours are? Probably not. It'll be able to conceptualize and think in languages and in modes of processing that we can't even fathom. How do you even understand? How could you even define or describe the motives, the morality of something like that? How can you? You can't. Jeremy needs to develop an artificial intelligence program to have a series of nanoparticles. To have a series of nanoparticles following Jeremy around all the time. And then it has audio dampening technology. Like a little cloud. You can't see it. Bless you. You can't see it. But it has audio dampening technology so that every time he crows, it just absorbs the audio and it doesn't get past. It doesn't get past like a 3-foot radius around him. So he just sits there and he feels like he's just crowing and doing his thing and crowing and crowing and crowing, but no one can hear it. Come on, AI, get to work. Oh man, this became another one of those like future Derek kind of talks. I didn't mean for it to do that. Started out just, kind of interesting. We had a dinosaur. We had a dudosaur. And then we were hosing down some teething tigers. Social media documentary, which I thought was really good that you should definitely watch. And then it turned into the robots are coming for us. To recap. Now I'm looking down and it's like, crap, I've been talking for 31 minutes. Oh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta sign off. You folks didn't sign up for this. It's just, oh boy. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbist Ward in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Monkey's buttered toast. Munchie saw a ghost. Miko weighs the most.